Have you ever walked into a room and forgotten why you went there in the first place? Or maybe you've set down your glasses only to spend the next 10 minutes searching for them. We all laugh at those moments, but deep down, they sometimes bring a little worry. Many people after 60 begin to wonder, is this just normal forgetfulness, or is it the start of something more serious? That little fear of dementia or memory loss can creep in quietly, and it's something most of us think about, even if we don't say it out loud. But here's the reassuring truth: while some changes in memory are completely normal as we age, there are so many things we can do to keep our minds sharp and active. The brain is like a muscle, it responds to training, stimulation, and care. It's never too late to strengthen it. Dementia is not an inevitable part of aging. By making smart choices in our daily lives, we can protect our memory, lower our risk, and even improve our mental clarity. In this video, we're going to explore simple, practical habits that keep your memory strong and help prevent dementia. Nothing complicated, nothing overwhelming. Just everyday changes that make a world of difference. And to start, let's look at one of the most powerful tools you already have: your brain's love for learning. Think about the last time you learned something new. Maybe it was trying a new recipe, figuring out how to use a new phone, or even learning a new card game from a friend. Do you remember that little spark of satisfaction when you figured it out? That's your brain waking up, creating new pathways, building connections. And those connections are the very thing that protect memory. Scientists call this cognitive reserve. The more connections you build, the stronger your brain becomes, and the better it can resist diseases like dementia. So, what does this mean for you? It means you should never stop learning. Try picking up a hobby that challenges your mind, like painting, learning a few words of a new language, or playing a musical instrument. Even puzzles, crosswords, or strategy games like chess or bridge can keep your brain buzzing. And here's the fun part: it doesn't have to feel like schoolwork. It's about joy and curiosity. The more you give your brain interesting things to do, the sharper it stays. Now, let's move to something we often forget plays a huge role in memory: physical exercise. You might be thinking, what does walking or stretching have to do with my brain? The answer is, everything. Exercise isn't just about muscles and joints. It pumps blood and oxygen to the brain, feeds it with nutrients, and even stimulates the release of chemicals that help brain cells grow and connect. Imagine your brain as a garden. Exercise is like the rain and sunshine that keep the flowers blooming. Without it, the soil dries out and growth slows. With it, everything flourishes. Even a simple daily walk can boost your memory, lower your risk of dementia, and improve your mood. And if you enjoy activities like dancing, swimming, or Tai Chi, those are even better because they combine movement with coordination and focus, which give your brain a double workout. One woman I know started taking short walks around her block at the age of 72. At first, she thought it was just for her legs. But after a few weeks, she told me she felt more alert, less foggy, and even happier. That's the power of movement. It doesn't just strengthen the body, it wakes up the mind. Of course, what we feed our bodies also feeds our brains. Nutrition plays a critical role in keeping memory sharp. You've probably heard the phrase, food is medicine, and when it comes to brain health, that couldn't be more true. Certain foods are like super fuel for the brain. Think of foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids, like salmon, walnuts, or flax seeds. These nourish your brain cells and keep them communicating efficiently. Leafy greens like spinach and kale provide antioxidants that protect your brain from damage. And colorful berries, blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, are packed with compounds that boost memory. On the flip side, Diets heavy in processed foods, sugary drinks, or too much red meat can actually harm brain function over time. Imagine trying to run your car on dirty fuel. It clogs the system and slows everything down. But when you fill your body with clean, nourishing foods, your brain runs smoother, sharper, and stronger. And don't forget hydration. Even mild dehydration can make you feel foggy and forgetful. Have you ever noticed that on days you don't drink enough water, your thinking feels slower? It's not your imagination. Your brain is about 70% water, and it needs that hydration to work properly. So keeping a glass of water nearby and sipping throughout the day is one of the easiest memory boosters you can give yourself. These first steps, challenging your brain with new learning, keeping your body moving, and fueling your mind with the right foods, are like laying the foundation of a strong, steady house. They protect you from the inside out, building resilience and strength in ways you might not always see but definitely feel. Now that we've explored these powerful first steps, let's keep the momentum going and dive into a few more habits that make all the difference when it comes to protecting memory and preventing dementia. You know, one of the best ways to keep your brain in top shape is to keep it moving, just like we do with our bodies. Think of your brain like a muscle. If we don't use it, it gets weaker over time. But the good news is, when we challenge it, when we stretch it in new directions, it stays strong and even builds new connections. That's why doing activities that stimulate your mind can be so powerful. And the best part? This doesn't have to mean anything complicated or boring. It could be as simple as picking up a crossword puzzle, trying your hand at Sudoku, or even learning a new skill like painting, gardening techniques, or a musical instrument. Every time you challenge your brain, it's like giving it a little workout. I've met people in their 70s and 80s who started learning a new language, and you'd be surprised how sharp and alive they feel because of it. It's not about becoming fluent, it's about keeping those mental gears turning. Even something like cooking a new recipe you've never tried before gives your brain a challenge, because it forces you to focus, measure, and create. These little challenges may seem small, but they add up over time, and that's exactly what keeps dementia at bay. Another thing we often overlook is the power of physical movement. Our brains and bodies are more connected than we realize. When we move our bodies, especially through activities like walking, dancing, or swimming, we're not just keeping our muscles strong. We're improving blood flow to the brain, and that's like giving our brain a fresh supply of oxygen and nutrients. You don't need to run marathons or spend hours at the gym, just 30 minutes of gentle activity a few times a week can do wonders. Even simple stretching, chair yoga, or a brisk walk around the neighborhood helps keep your brain active and alert. And if you enjoy dancing, that's a double win. It works both your body and your brain, because you're remembering steps, staying in rhythm, and moving with joy. While movement and mental stimulation are vital, there's another key factor we can't ignore: connection. Humans are wired for relationships, and loneliness can quietly chip away at our memory and overall health. I know many people in their later years sometimes feel isolated, especially if family lives far away or friends have passed on. But staying socially connected is like a protective shield for your brain. When you chat with a friend, play a board game, or simply share a meal with someone, your brain is actively engaged, processing emotions, recalling memories, and staying present in the moment. Social interaction keeps the brain busy in the best way possible. You don't need to have a large circle of friends to stay socially active. Even having one or two people you talk to regularly makes a difference. Joining a local community group, a book club, or even volunteering for a cause you care about can create opportunities to connect. And nowadays, technology makes it easier too. You can video call your grandchildren, join online classes, or even play games with friends virtually. What matters most is keeping that human connection alive, because a connected heart leads to a sharper mind. Sleep is another area we often underestimate when it comes to memory. Think about how you feel after a restless night. Foggy, slow, forgetful, right? That's because while we sleep, our brains are busy cleaning up the clutter, filing memories away, and recharging for the next day. Without enough rest, our brains can't do their best work. As we age, sleep patterns might change, and some people find it harder to get deep rest. But creating a relaxing bedtime routine can make a huge difference. That could mean turning off screens an hour before bed, enjoying a warm cup of herbal tea, listening to calming music, or even practicing deep breathing before sleep. One tip that works wonders is keeping a consistent sleep schedule, going to bed and waking up around the same time every day. It trains your body and brain to know when it's time to rest. And if you find your mind racing at night, try keeping a notebook by your bedside. Write down any worries or to-do lists before you sleep, so your brain feels lighter and ready to drift off. Restful sleep is not a luxury, it's fuel for a sharp memory and clear thinking. Of course, we can't forget about what goes into our bodies. Food is more than just calories, it's information for our brains. Certain foods are known to protect memory and brain health. Think of colorful fruits and vegetables, especially berries, leafy greens, and foods rich in healthy fats like salmon, walnuts, or olive oil. These foods are packed with antioxidants and nutrients that fight off the damage aging can cause. On the other hand, too much sugar, fried foods, or processed snacks can have the opposite effect, leaving us sluggish and forgetful. You don't have to change your diet overnight, but small swaps go a long way. Maybe replace a sugary dessert with a handful of blueberries. Or instead of fried food, try baking or grilling. Even sipping green tea instead of a soda gives your brain a boost of antioxidants. Little by little, these choices become habits, and your brain thanks you with sharper focus and better recall. And here's something many people overlook: hydration. Dehydration can sneak up on us as we age, and even mild dehydration can affect memory and mood. If you've ever felt unusually tired, irritable, or forgetful, sometimes the solution is as simple as drinking a glass of water. Aim to sip throughout the day. If plain water feels boring, you can infuse it with slices of lemon, cucumber, or berries for a refreshing twist. Staying hydrated keeps your brain cells working at their best. All these habits, stimulating your mind, moving your body, staying socially connected, sleeping well, eating smart, and drinking enough water, work together like puzzle pieces. Each one strengthens and protects your brain in a different way, and when you combine them, the result is powerful. You don't need to do everything perfectly, it's about finding what works for you and making small, consistent choices. Now, we've talked about keeping your brain active, moving your body, staying socially connected, eating well, and getting good sleep. But there's one more important piece we need to shine a light on: managing stress. Stress is something we all face, no matter our age. A little stress here and there can sometimes motivate us, but when it becomes constant, it's like carrying a heavy backpack you never put down. Over time, that stress doesn't just weigh on our emotions, it actually affects our memory and the health of our brain. You might notice it in small ways: forgetting names, misplacing items, or feeling mentally drained. That's because stress hormones, like cortisol, interfere with the way our brain stores and recalls information. So what can we do about it? The answer isn't eliminating stress completely, that's impossible, but learning how to manage it. And the good news is, there are gentle, enjoyable ways to do this. For some, it's as simple as practicing deep breathing for a few minutes each day. Inhale slowly, hold, then exhale. You'll be amazed at how quickly your body relaxes. Others find peace in meditation, prayer, or listening to calming music. Even something as simple as spending time in nature, sitting in a park, gardening, or walking barefoot on grass, can soothe the mind and lift the spirit. Another beautiful way to lower stress is through hobbies. Doing something you love, whether that's painting, knitting, playing cards, or tending to a flower bed, creates moments of joy and calm. These activities help shift your focus away from worry and back into the present moment, where your brain feels safe and relaxed. And when your mind is calm, your memory functions better, too. Now, let's talk about something we often avoid: regular checkups. I know doctor visits aren't always fun, but staying on top of your health is one of the best gifts you can give yourself. Conditions like high blood pressure, diabetes, or even hearing loss can quietly impact memory if left unchecked. For example, when your hearing declines, your brain has to work harder just to understand sounds, leaving less energy for remembering things. By addressing these issues early, you're not just protecting your physical health, you're safeguarding your memory, too. If you notice any changes in your memory that concern you, like forgetting important dates, getting lost in familiar places, or struggling with daily tasks, don't ignore them. Talk to your doctor. Sometimes memory changes are just a normal part of aging, but other times they can signal something that needs attention. Getting help early can make all the difference. Let's pause here and remind ourselves of something very important: aging doesn't mean decline, it means change. Yes, our brains may work a little differently as we get older, but they are still incredibly capable of learning, adapting, and growing. In fact, many people find that their wisdom, creativity, and ability to see the bigger picture actually improve with age. Your memory is not just about recalling facts, it's about the story of your life, the lessons you've learned, and the love you've shared. That is something truly powerful. So how do we put all this together in daily life? Let's make it simple. Imagine your day as a balance between 3 pillars: move your body, challenge your mind, and connect with others. Maybe you start your morning with a short walk, then enjoy a healthy breakfast rich in fruits and whole grains. Later in the day, you work on a puzzle, read a book, or try a new recipe to keep your mind engaged. And in the evening, you call a friend, play a game with family, or join a community class. Add in restful sleep and stress management, and you've got a daily routine that supports both memory and overall well-being. Remember, it's not about doing everything perfectly. Small steps add up. Maybe you drink 1 extra glass of water today. Maybe you take 5 minutes to practice gratitude, writing down 3 things you're thankful for. Maybe you learn 1 new fact or word. Over time, these small actions create big results. And gratitude itself is worth mentioning. Studies show that cultivating gratitude, noticing the good in your life, actually strengthens neural pathways in the brain. It not only improves mood but also supports memory. So at the end of each day, try reflecting on a moment that made you smile. It could be as simple as a bird singing outside your window or a warm conversation with a loved one. These moments nourish the heart and the mind. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought: your brain is one of your greatest treasures. It holds your memories, your wisdom, your joy. And while aging is inevitable, memory loss doesn't have to be. With the right habits, moving, learning, connecting, eating well, resting, and managing stress, you can keep your brain sharp and your spirit vibrant for years to come. So take it one day at a time, celebrate the small wins, and remember, it's never too late to make a change. Every step you take to care for your brain today is a gift for your future self. Thank you for spending this time with me. I hope you feel inspired to take action, whether it's trying a new activity, calling a friend, or simply sipping more water. If you found this video helpful, share it with someone you love, so together we can all stay sharp, strong, and joyful. Until next time, take care of yourself, keep your mind active, and remember, you are never too old to shine.